When the old Mrs. Wilson heard this, her heart was ecstatic. Whether Ragnar could kill Charlie, she didn't really care deep in her heart. What she really cared about was that she needed her own help in form of Ragnar. In this way, she would tie the Wilson family to the big boat of the Wu family. The Wilson family was almost dead, but now that it can become a partner of the Wu family, then there is a chance to come back to life. And not only can it bring the dead back to life, it's probably even more powerful than when it was at its peak and heyday. So the Lady Wilson opened her mouth and said to Ragnar, "Mr. Ragnar, my granddaughter is Charlie's wife, Claire, and now he also runs a decoration company. There is a business conflict with our Wilson group. If we can bring the Wilson group back to life, we can hit each other in business." Ragnar nodded and said faintly, "Don't worry, I will invest 80 million in your Wilson group to help you clear all your debts. If you do well, I will continue to invest." Old Mrs. Wilson was almost ecstatic when she heard this. This is really nowhere to be found after breaking through the iron shoes. In other words, it's another village. During this period of time, she has always felt that the Wilson group could never come back from the dead, but she didn't expect Ragnar to give her a powerful life. The only problem with the Wilson group is that it has no money and owes tens of millions of foreign debts. It still doesn't know how to deal with it. The bank has been pressuring them to get the loan back, but as long as the money is paid back, nothing will happen. The Wilson group originally owed 80 million, but Fredman had already invested 10 million, and the bank also took away the villa, as well as so many antiques of her own. When that time comes, just return the remaining tens of millions to the villa. And antiques, the bank will return it, and there will be tens of millions of surplus on the company's account at that time, and it will suddenly turn over. Harold and Wendy were already very excited when they heard this. They looked at the Lady Wilson and asked excitedly, "Grandma, can we return to our Wilson family villa this time? Should we never use it again? Down the street?" Wendy also shed tears in excitement. "Do I no longer need to use Dabao Sod honey?" Old Mrs. Wilson just wanted to nod, but suddenly she thought of a brilliant idea. So, the Lady Wilson said to Ragnar, "Mr. Ragnar, Charlie's family, and our family are like water and fire, and are incompatible with each other. They are anxious to send us to the small coal mine and to the detention center. But if we go back this time, we will be under their noses every day, and it will definitely cause them great pain. Don't you want them to catch fire in their backyard? You just need to put us behind them, and we will be behind them all day long. It's all fire." When Ragnar heard this, he immediately became interested and raised his eyebrows and asked, "Lady Wilson, what do you mean specifically?" "To be clear, you don't have to go around with me." Mrs. Wilson hurriedly said flatteringly, "Mr. Ragnar, the Charlie family live in the villa of Orus Hill Thompson First Class. Don't you know what they are doing all the time because of this villa? Looks like. Especially my second daughter-in-law, whose nostrils are almost going to the sky, and tell us every day that people like us are not even qualified to see the door, if we suddenly become successful with them. Become neighbors, every day I bow my head without looking up. Then think about it. What is the mood of their family?" Ragnar's eyes suddenly lit up. "FCK, this is kind of interesting. Think about it, you just lived in a luxurious villa, enjoying a luxurious and secluded life every day, and then looking at your enemies down and down the streets. You can't even eat. That must be very enjoyable. But if one day suddenly, you wake up and find that your down and down street enemy has become your neighbor, then your life will surely fall from heaven to hell in an instant." Ragnar believes in feng shui, fortune and magnetic field. He firmly believes that if a person has good feng shui luck and good mood, everything will go smoothly. But if a person's mood is affected and he is very upset every day from morning to night, he can't concentrate on anything and lose interest in everything. No matter how good the wine is, he loses its taste. The delicious meal does not feel delicious in his mouth. Over time, his whole person will be affected by the magnetic field of this negative emotion, which will affect his whole person's feng shui fortune and even affect his physical health. In feng shui, everything that makes people irritable is called stupid. If the sound is too loud, it is the evil spirit. If the light is too bright, it is the evil spirit. These kinds of evil auras are colorless, tasteless, invisible, and without a trace, and are extremely difficult to resolve. If he sends the Wilson family to Charlie's eyes, it would be equivalent to giving him these kinds of evil spirits, and it would definitely make Charlie suffer every day. Thinking of this, Ragnar said with joy on his face, "If that's the case, then I can help you buy a Thompson first-class villa, and it's next to Charlie's, and then let your family live in." When the old Mrs. Wilson heard this, she trembled with excitement. After all, why did she break with her second son's family, and why was she sent to the detention center for so many days? In the final analysis, the culprit is Thompson's villa. She is too eager for Thompson's luxurious villa. She wants to live in it in dreams, experience the incomparable luxury and enjoy the luxurious life. But in the end, she still failed to fight her second son's family, not to mention living in their Thompson first class, and even her old villa was finally sealed by the bank. But now the situation is different, and now she embraces the Wu family's thigh. After her own remarks just now, Ragnar really became interested.